All new at 5:30, we are hearing from the pilot who made this risky landing at the Dunkirk Airport last night. We first showed you the video last night on the 10 o'clock news and then again at 11. The pilot managed to keep his cool at a time when many people would be very nervous. Look at the landing gear there. It's not all the way down. News 4's Ed Dranch has more on this difficult landing. Ed?
Indeed, Jackie. It's one of those things where any one of us would be swallowing hard, but the landing was flawless, as you'll soon see, thanks to a level-headed pilot. Surrounded by flashing lights and crews at the ready, 22-year-old pilot Marcus Johnston braced for an emergency landing as he flew this single-engine aircraft to the Dunkirk Airport Thursday night.
It was just more or less like, there's a problem and you're going to have to deal with it.
The right side landing gear, he says, wasn't working. So for an hour and a half, Johnston circled the airport.
And also just double, triple checking that the gear wouldn't come down.
Burning fuel to avoid catching fire.
I touched down just waiting to hear basically the belly hit, and then we just slid to a stop.
Nailing this emergency landing.
I was still concentrating on pulling back on the controls to make sure that the nose wouldn't dig in. But once we came to a stop, I was just, I was obviously relieved that it went as planned.
Johnston is an instructor at Dunkirk Aviation and had been on a training flight with another pilot. Both made it out of the plane safely. News 4 aviation expert Bob Miller explains this landing couldn't have been any better.
The critical thing is that they have to remain cool. Just remain calm, work the procedures they've been trained for. A great deal of credit goes to the pilot and the flight instructor that was on board.
Believe it or not, this was Johnston's first time in a situation like this.
A little bit shooken up after, but right now, no problem. It's a good experience, but definitely don't want it to happen ever again.
Can't blame him. If you're wondering why we couldn't speak with Johnston in person, it's because he was back in the air today and flew to Cleveland early this morning.